There's a moment a lot of women describe: standing in front of the mirror, outfit sorted, makeup done, feeling good, and then they look at their hair and something deflates. It's not that it looks bad exactly. It just doesn't quite match how they feel on the inside. And that gap between how you feel and how you look, more often than not, the hair is where it starts. The right haircut doesn't just change how you look. It changes how you carry yourself. It lifts the face, adds life to features that may have been sitting in shadow, and gives you back a little of the energy that the wrong cut quietly takes away. I've seen it happen so many times. A woman sits down in that chair looking one way and stands up looking 5, sometimes 10 years younger. Not because of magic, because of shape, movement, and the right frame around her face. Today I'm sharing 5 cuts that do exactly that. These aren't fashionable for 5 minutes and then gone. They're timeless styles that work specifically for women over 50. And I'll tell you not just what they are, but why each one works and how to make the most of it. If you're new here, welcome. I'm really glad you found this. Subscribe before we get started because every week I share beauty, style, and confidence tips made for women over 50. Now let's talk hair. Cut 1, the layered bob. If I had to recommend just one haircut for women over 50, it would be this one. The layered bob is versatile, forgiving, flattering on almost every face shape, and it works whether your hair is fine or thick, straight or wavy. Here's what makes it work. The layers. A blunt bob can sit heavy and flat, and on finer hair especially, that heaviness reads as lifeless. Add soft layers and everything changes. The hair gets movement. It gets dimension. It lifts around the face rather than hanging away from it. And that lift draws the eye upward to your eyes, your cheekbones, the most expressive parts of your face. The layered bob also does something very useful for the jawline. As we get older, the jaw can soften slightly, and a cut that grazes the jaw or sits just below it creates a gentle frame that actually brings definition back to that area. Not harsh, soft, just enough to give the face structure. For styling, a light mousse or texturizing spray worked through damp hair before you blow dry gives you volume that lasts. Don't over dry it. A little natural movement is exactly what makes this cut look effortless rather than done. Do you love a bob, or have you been hesitant to go shorter? Tell me in the comments. I'd genuinely love to know where you're starting from. Cut 2, the long lob with soft waves. For women who love their length and aren't ready to go shorter, this one is the answer. The long lob, or lob, sitting just above the shoulders, solve the problem that very long hair often creates after 50. Very long, unstyled hair can drag the face downward. It adds weight where you don't want it, and takes volume away from the top and crown where you need it most. The lob removes that drag while keeping the feeling of length that many women love. Add soft waves, and the effect is genuinely beautiful. Waves create fullness. They suggest body and movement, even in finer hair. And they catch light in a way that makes hair look healthier and more alive. The combination of that shoulder-grazing length and relaxed wave creates something that feels youthful without trying too hard, which is always the goal. You don't need heat to get this look. A sea salt spray worked through slightly damp hair and left to dry naturally gives you soft, lived-in waves with no damage. If you want more definition, a large barrel curling iron on dry hair, wrapping loosely rather than clamping tightly, creates beautiful waves in about 10 minutes. The key is keeping the ends healthy. A lob with dry, split ends loses the whole effect. A trim every 8 to 10 weeks and a weekly deep conditioner makes an enormous difference to how this cut sits and moves. Cut 3, the soft pixie. I know, some of you just tensed up, and I understand. The pixie feels like a big commitment. But hear me out, because a well-done soft pixie is one of the most genuinely age-defying cuts there is. The reason it works is proportion. When hair is cropped close to the head with volume built into the crown, it creates height. That height lifts the entire face upward. The eyes look brighter, the cheekbones more defined, the neck longer. Features that may have been disappearing in a longer hair suddenly come forward. Women are often astonished by how different they look. The word soft is doing important work in the name here. A harsh, heavily gelled pixie reads very differently from a soft one. What you want is texture of the crown, light, airy, slightly tousled, with a little length left of the sides and front to frame the face gently. Ask your stylist for a pixie with face framing pieces at the front. That softness around the face makes all the difference between bold and striking versus stark. For styling, a small amount of lightweight mousse of the roots, then blow dry upward and forward to build volume at the crown. A little texturizing spray through the ends. That's it. The whole thing takes 5 minutes once you know what you're doing. Would you ever try a pixie? There's no wrong answer. Drop in the comments. And if you've been watching for a while and haven't subscribed yet, this would be a lovely moment to do that. I'd love to have you as part of this community. Cut 4. The textured layered shag. The shag has had something of a revival recently, and for good reason, but it's not new. It's been flattering women for decades, and on women over 60 especially, it does things that few other cuts can. The textured shag is built around layers, lots of them, falling at different lengths through the hair to create volume, movement, and what stylists call lived-in texture. It doesn't look done. It looks like your hair just does that naturally, which is the most flattering impression hair can give. For women with thinning hair, the shag is particularly useful. The layering makes fine hair appear fuller by creating multiple planes of texture rather than one flat surface. For women with thicker hair, it removes bulk in exactly the right way, keeping volume where you want it and taking weight away where you don't. The face framing layers at the front are the heart of this cut. They frame your eyes and cheekbones in a way that feels soft and relaxed rather than structured. Think of them as a gentle curtain around your best features. For styling, this is genuinely one of the easiest cuts to maintain. A sea salt spray for a more tousled, natural finish, or a curling one on the layers for a bit more shape. Either way, the texture is built into the cut itself, so you don't need to work very hard to make it look good. Cut 5. The angled layered cut. The last one is perhaps the most quietly sophisticated of the 5, and on the right woman, it's stunning. The angled layered cut has longer front sections that angle forward and down toward the face, with shorter layers to the back and crown. The effect is a frame that draws the eye toward the face, toward the eyes, the cheekbones, the jawline, while the volume to the layers of the crown creates lift that counteracts any heaviness or drooping. What this cut does for face shape is remarkable. The angled front pieces create the illusion of structure around the jaw and cheekbones without anything harsh or severe. It's sculpting through hair rather than through makeup or surgery. And women who've tried it often say it's the first time in years they've felt properly framed. It suits most face shapes well, though it's particularly flattering on rounder faces where the angled lines naturally add length and definition. For styling, the most important thing is the ends. Add just a little texture to the tips. A small amount of pomade or texturizing paste worked lightly through the ends, and use a light hold hairspray to keep the shape without stiffness. The goal is polished but natural, considered but not rigid. 5 cuts. Each one is different, but all of them sharing the same underlying logic. Movement over flatness, lift over weight, softness over severity. The layered bob for versatility and face-lifting softness. The long lob with waves for length lovers who want life and body. The soft pixie for the woman who wants to make a confident, striking choice. The textured shag for natural, effortless fullness. And the angled layered cut for quiet, sculpted elegance. None of these are about looking younger for someone else's benefit. They're about looking in the mirror and recognizing yourself, feeling the alignment between who you are and what you see. That's what the right haircut actually does. Not a magic trick, just the right frame for a face that has a lot of story in it and deserves to be seen clearly. Which of these 5 has caught your attention? Tell me in the comments. I really do read everyone, and I especially love hearing from women who've made a change and felt the difference. If you found this helpful, a like on the video goes a long way toward helping other women find it. And if you're not subscribed yet, please do. New videos every week, always made with you in mind. I'll see you in the next one.